And so there's not that much on the table. So it's not a surprise that in many states, given the numbers we've seen, it's the state appropriation for higher ed that...
Hi, I'm Cary Nelson. I'm a professor at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and I'm also the national president of the American Association of University Professors, or the AAUP. I've been president for 3 years. I'm here in Minnesota at our annual Summer Institute, which is a wonderful training institute that we do. We teach people how to analyze their university budget. We teach people how to reinforce shared governance on their campuses. We give instructions on collective bargaining. We give classes on how to strengthen your local chapter. And we do things like take cruises on the river and have some fun at the same time. It's really one of the best things we do.
We've got over 400 chapters on campuses where there's no faculty union, but there is an AAUP chapter. They really run the gamut, but in very many of those chapters, there are enough members and enough committed faculty working in the chapter that decision-making doesn't happen without faculty input. And in very practical ways, it makes huge differences in the lives of faculty on those campuses. So, for example, compensation decisions have to happen after appropriate dialogue with the faculty, not just by unilateral fiat from the administration.
So often in these situations, the administration taps into the kind of general feeling that the population has about, and that the faculty have, about hard times. They invoke what's going on in the larger economy, they invoke what's going on with state deficits, and by virtue of those larger society hard times, they suggest that the institution itself is experiencing dramatic, if not financial exigency, levels of financial crisis that call for the faculty to give back in a variety of ways, whether it's furloughs or even pay freezes or pay reductions. And so what the session was designed to do was to take the empirical data and basically to puncture that argument and show that in fact, first, higher education institutions are in much better financial shape than we're often led to believe. That administrations, when they frame their institutions as being in deep financial crisis, are not utilizing the financial sort of measures and practices that an accountant would, or that a finance professor would, or that someone who understands higher education finance would. We also wanted to show how the kinds of trend lines that we're experiencing now are large long-term trends in terms of a shift in shares of expenditures between instruction and administration.
The AAUP has been around since 1915, so we're moving toward our 100th anniversary, and we are the only interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary faculty organization in the country that represents faculty interests and articulates faculty responsibilities across the whole range of higher education issues. We're, of course, famous for defining tenure. We are the source of the definition of tenure that's accepted all across the university. We are the source of the fundamental definitions of academic freedom and also of shared governance.
One of the important structural roles that our chapters play is on campuses where there's a reasonably strong faculty governance system. The chapter can make it even stronger by insisting that the faculty role in shared governance be respected. And there are many chapters where there's been virtually no governance system, but through the hard work of chapter activists, the administration has to acknowledge that shared governance is a part of the higher education landscape, and that faculty, through shared governance, have to be playing a role in academic decision-making.
But we also have to do new documents that define new issues as they arrive. So when email came around, we had to write a proposal that explained what academic freedom meant on email and on websites. So the world keeps changing and our duties never seem to stop. Our principled statements are simply the best that there are in the country, and they survive. Our statement on student freedoms, which we wrote in 1967, I think remains the single best set of principles about student freedoms ever written. You can see it on our website, www.aaup.org. We're also involved in collective bargaining, but in a very distinctive way. The first thing to say about AAUP-style collective bargaining is that we do not represent you. We help you as a faculty to represent yourselves, because we believe that each campus is different and the faculty on each campus need to decide what kind of bargaining you want, what your priorities are, what your values are. We help you define them. We sit in on your contract negotiations and help you to get the things that you deserve, but we don't tell you what to do.
Our view is that there's really a false dichotomy between unionized employees and non-unionized employees. For faculty, part of the culture is self-management. Faculty rightfully play a role in making important decisions in their institutions, and one mechanism for faculty having a strong voice in decision-making is through a union. But for a whole variety of reasons, including legal difficulties, most faculty don't have union representation. And what that means is that they have to organize in the generic sense so that they can have, as strong as possible, a voice in the decision-making on the campus. And an AAUP chapter that has strong membership, not only a lot of people, but people who are committed to working for the common good, can be that strong faculty voice on any campus.
We have lots of special committees that develop policy on gender issues, on race issues, on retirement issues, on shared governance. So we have focus groups composed of faculty around the country that meet regularly to make certain that our position papers on the whole range of issues affecting higher education are completely up to date.
The balance between academic positions and non-academic positions shift in the salaries and the salary increases of academics and of administrators, and that any action that a faculty takes or any plan that it proposes should be made in the context of those 20-year trends. So after 20 years, for example, of an administration making various shifts in expenditures, realizing larger increases in its salaries than faculty, to then say, well, okay, this year we should all have furloughs, we should all sort of share the pain, is not dealing with that long-term trend line. And that any action that the faculty engages in should address that long-term trend line as well as the actual current financial condition of the institution.
We've made a commitment over the next year to revise our dues structure. We have to acknowledge, in large part, the changing face of the professoriate. We've got a majority of teaching positions now which are not on the tenure track. Economically, many faculty members, not to mention graduate students, are being exploited. So we're looking for a dues structure that will make it easier for people who are committed to the work of the AAUP to become dues-paying members, because the dues will be more in line with their actual earnings.
We have a national office in Washington, D.C. We have a staff of about 40 people, and then we have a total membership of 47,000 faculty members across the country. We also regularly email information about higher education to 400,000 faculty. We have the largest faculty email list of anyone in the country, and we do our best to keep faculty up to date about what's happening. A lot of our emails, 2009, have been about university finances, which seem to be on the table in the midst of the recession. And so we're helping faculty to seek the truth about their university budgets, because not every university that claims to be in crisis is actually in crisis. we have institutions making a profit that are claiming to be in crisis. And so faculty need to be able to look at budgets and analyze them, understand them, and make certain that the financial statements that they see really reveal the truth about universities. Otherwise, faculty will be victims rather than agents for change. We welcome membership in all several categories. You can find out more about us on our website, and we welcome all of you aboard.
Thank you very much.